Here. I'm changed today still. Uh, the day before Valentine's Day. Happy birthday, Joe. And happy Valentine's weekend. I wanted to hop on for a minute to work on some qualifying drills and give you some insight into what I do. The track that I'm working on this week, Kyoto Driving Park, Yamagiwa, and I am driving the GR Supra Racing Concept 2018. So I'm going to kind of give some insight. I've talked about it a little bit on the other videos. I'm going to give a little bit of insight of my qualifying drills. The first thing that I typically do at the beginning of the week is I go straight to the leaderboard, the top 10, and I look for what car most of the top 10 drivers are driving, and then I select that car, and that's what I stick with for the week. Then I pick the leader driving that car. Give me 1 second here. I pick the leader driving that car, so top 10 stars. And the GR Super Racing Concept 2018. It's not a coincidence. That's what I chose. And, you know, I'll look for if I recognize anybody. Sometimes I see leaders that I've gotten familiar because they tend to be on the leaderboard each week. Otherwise, you know, I'll pick somebody. I've started watching already R8G Lloyd Zelit from Canada, who has right now second place qualifying time overall at 1 minute 30 seconds and 5/10. That's who I'm going to watch because that's who was in the lead at the beginning of the week. Even though IOF Racing 17 is now in the lead, I'm more familiar with this driving line. So I will load that Ghost. I will also watch the replay. I'm going to show you exactly what I do. It's the same thing every time. Alright. So that gold car, that's actually my car. I don't know why GT Sport puts my vehicle on the track, but that's not what the leader's car is designed as. That's actually my design. Alright, so this is what I do. First thing I do is I change the display, and I display all, and it will give me the driving info down at the bottom. The next thing that I do is I change the perspective. This is my driving perspective. And the third thing that I do is start it over, and I watch. 142 to cross the start finish. .97 was the slowest speed around turn 1. .143 through that turn. Down to 4th. 116 was the slowest speed through that turn. By the time we get to the crest of the hill, we're at 143. Turn. So this is a corner that I have trouble with. So there's a couple things that I'm going to look for in this corner. I'm going to look for, I know where the braking point is, so I'm not so concerned with that. Sometimes I'll pull to this perspective and look at the brake lights. Sometimes I'll go to the perspective that I prefer, and I'll look at the bottom. Anyway, I'll look at the brake pressure to see when the brake happens. So I look for the brake point. I look for the turn-in speed. So what speed is the car at? What speed do we have to get the car down to in our braking in order to start the corner entry? And then what's the lowest speed within the corner? And those two things tend to help. So we're going to start with this perspective so we can see the braking point, so you can see what I mean. There's markers, so I look to see the braking point with respect to the markers. And we'll pause right at the marker. Right about here. Actually, that was pretty good. So the brake lights are on. It might be subtle, but it's about a car length before that white marker, or about a car length and a half before the alligator stripping, the curbing, the red and white stripe. All right. The other thing that I'm looking for is, now that we have the brakes on, we're decelerating. Okay. And as we decelerate, we'll be able to see what the speed is when we stop braking. It's not so precise. We're at 154 miles per hour. About 120 is when we turn in. And the lowest speed that we have is 94 or 95. I can tell you I'm not carrying that much speed through that turn. This turn gives me so much trouble. I'm carrying the most amount of speed I can carry through that turn is 80 miles an hour. But often I'm down to 73. On some bad laps, I've gotten down as low as 65. Because it's real easy to lose control through that curbing section. But I take note of it. Max speed, braking point, and the lowest speed, and then I start working towards that being my target. Okay. Go back to my preferred perspective. I'm looking for lowest speed. Lowest speed through here is about 54 miles per hour. I'm not going to memorize all of these low speeds, but I do take mental note, especially since I've already driven this track. I have a sense of how fast I go. Very similar to that last corner we were just talking about, where I know the lowest speed I've ever carried through it was 65 miles per hour, and it was horrible. I know I'm usually around 73, and I know the fastest that I've been through that corner is 80 at the low point. That's what I mean. All right, so I watched that. The second thing that I do is I drive the track following the ghost, and I try to increase the minimum speeds that I'm carrying through corners, and try to stay with the ghost. Again, I don't have all those corners memorized that I just went through, but I do have an idea of those speeds compared to where I am. I know this one is right around 61, so if I drop down to a 58, I could carry more speed through that corner. That's just as an example. Oftentimes when I'm doing my drills, I just do a really crappy job, because when I'm doing these curves, these turns, and trying to, increase my minimum speed, because by its very nature, I'm carrying more speed than what I'm comfortable with. So I usually do end up going wide as I try to correct or go faster, essentially. So remember this one, I'm trying to get to a max 154, brake, carry more speed. Okay, so that wasn't so bad. I got down to about an 84 miles an hour, and remember, 80 was the highest. So because I know that it's possible to carry more speed, it gives me more confidence to go ahead and carry it. I'm not worried about lap times because I'm actually out here practicing particular corners. It's not that big of a deal. Alright, so on this next lap, I'm going to try to work on that corner again. Again, I'm just practicing. I'm out here practicing trying to carry more speed. So I'm going to go way wide on some corners as I try to dial it in. I will not do that in a race until I'm actually comfortable carrying that much speed while driving my own racing mode. So one thing to note, so I started off by saying that I do this drill at the beginning of the week. When I say that, each week there's a new set of tracks, so as I'm learning a track, that's how I start. I start by watching the fastest car in that car, and then I start by driving it with a ghost. Midweek, or towards the end of the week, so now it's Friday, I am comfortable with the track. I've even been in some races as high as second place, but the highest that I've started was 8th place, which means my qualifying time isn't as fast as the others that I'm racing against. So I have at least 1 or 2 seconds as a goal that I want to shave off of my qualifying time. Now that I've been comfortable with the track and I'm confident driving, now I'm looking for the incremental areas of reduction. I know for sure that this turn that I'm about to come up on is an area. If I'm driving through that thing at 65 miles per hour, but the fastest car is driving through it at 95 miles per hour, that's 30 miles per hour difference. 2, 3, 4, and 5 miles per hour can make a difference. I'm 30 miles per hour behind the leader, right? So I'm going to work on that corner to pick up speed, and then I will very seriously drive the track without focusing on one particular corner and just overall do better. That's how I'll end up getting faster than my 134. I'm trying to get to the 133 flat. There's that 68, 69, which is fine because I was talking. So we're going to go back around and do it again. I could stop and start over, but seat time is so important. And as I'm driving these other corners, I'm dialing them in as well and getting more practice. In racing, you will hear that seat time. So I've talked about it before. I am actually working on my competition license. I do plan on racing wheel to wheel this year on a physical road course. I am working to, at any rate, that's repetitive. The seat time that I get by playing GT Sport is valuable. That may be the fastest that I've ever gone through that section. .143. 87. So see how we'll start to shave off that time. Qualifying is so important to the race position and being able to, you know, win races, or at least get on the podium, because it's so respective of your starting position. So that wasn't my record, but I will tell you that's only the second time that I've been in the 134s. My record is 134.594. One thing you hear me talking about is consistency. This may not be my record lap or the fastest lap, but I will tell you I'm on pace to mirror very closely the last lap that I just put down. That's a match. It's literally 0.03 of a second off of that. So that's it. That's the drill. That's one of them anyway. I have other things that I do through qualifying, so it's all fun. Come back. Happy Valentine's Day.